Hello everybody, this is my 1979 Ford LTD II in Ford's color dark red. Now this model was quite short-lived. It did not meet expectations to the consumers. This because, I think mainly, in my opinion, it was marketed as a mid-size sedan, and this vehicle is nowhere near mid-size. As you can see, it's very long. I believe it's around 18 feet in length. So this was a bit more closer to your full-size sedan, but without the extra power, because the engine in this particular model has a 302. There's also a 351 you could get. This one just has the 302, which is surprising for such a big vehicle like this. It remains rather underpowered. Now I'll go around looking at all the little details I can see here. So it's got the egg crate grille right up here in the front. It's got a nice hood ornament of the LTD II. Now this vehicle is actually rather rare for the reasons I just mentioned. Not produced very much. Whatever models are still surviving, I assume are not in great shape. I've only seen one other one in my entire life in person. I didn't even know this vehicle existed before I bought it. Now along here, these are, I believe, from the basic LTD. When I bought this car, I had Oldsmobile hubcaps, so I found those at a thrift store. Now, with this vehicle, it only has one mirror, because the second mirror on the other side is optional. And the original owner decided not to opt for the other mirror, which is kind of unusual. You'd think you want two mirrors, even if it's going to cost extra. As you can see, the body is in pretty good shape. The paint is fading on the panels. I was talking to a friend. He said someone at some point was about to do some sort of repainting of some sort, and you can hear from the difference in the panels, apparently. That's very hollow, and back here, not the same sound. I don't know what he meant by that. I'm not a bodywork guy, so... Now coming around the back, you have quite a nice trunk. Very spacious. I miss when vehicles had spacious trunks like these, because now everyone just drives SUVs. So, comes with a spare tire. It's got a jack in here somewhere. I just keep a toolbox in here, some cones in case I break down. Those are old floor mats. I put in some new ones. Now coming along to here, have a side exit exhaust right down here. This is aftermarket. Someone put this on before me. It's got a nice exhaust tip, so it really roars. Vinyl top, of course. And this is where the damage is pretty bad on the car. The paint is really coming off along here. But it's not too noticeable from a distance, sorry. And of course up there, there's lots of chips. So, I'll get inside the vehicle now, and I'll show you what it's like. So, when you initially get in, you have working interior lights. Everything in here, hold on, let me just step up for a second. Everything in here is rather clean. No marks in the seats or anything. It's all quite nice. It's survived 40 plus years. Here's my antenna. It likes to pop out, so I keep it back here. So not one mark in any seat. I'm not too sure on the history of this car, but I'm assuming it was owned by maybe a family at some point, because there's lots of marks on the back plastic here. I don't know if I got that on video, but it looks like that a kid was in there messing around. So, sitting here in the interior, there's your light switch down here. This is the very old school climate control panel, not like how they have them in the middle now. So it was completely up to the driver how they wanted to climb it, which is kind of neat. I really don't know what many of these do. There's economy vent, high, low, whatever that one is. I just use defrost, and it defrosts the front windshield. Parking brake does not work. Hood latch. Down here is the high beams. I don't know if you can see them from here, but it's the little silver knob like most old cars have. Now you have park, reverse, neutral, drive, second and first. Nothing too crazy there. This just has the AM radio. Down here is an ashtray with a working cigarette lighter. As you can see, there's some butts from the previous owner. Just getting a nice look at the interior for you. Glove box. This works. So as you can see, everything is maintained very, very well. Which is quite surprising, because when I got this, the engine was not doing so well. I had to do some tweaks to the carburetor. Now to the gauges. Of course, this is a very this car does not have many options that were picked out, so this entire gauge is blank. I believe it was you could get a tachometer on there. Some people have told me you can get a clock on there, but I'm not too sure about that. Now, I've never pushed it past 140, so I don't know if it could go past 140. But the gauges work. The temperature gauge works, but the fuel gauge, when it's full, it'll be midway. So that's one of the quirks of this car. Now let's go take a look at the back seats. Oh, and right here was supposed to be the adjustment stick lever for the mirror, but that broke off at some point in time before I owned this car. Now the back seat, you have a rear ashtray, and that's really about it. There's not a whole lot happening back here, which is understandable because this is just really to get to point A to point B. Your rear passengers do not need a whole lot of comfort. Now, I will give the car a start and show you guys what it sounds like, what it drives like, some of the other features. Let's get right into it here. Now there's a separate key for the engine and for the trunk. Pop the hood here. So, here's the 302 engine. Runs very smoothly. I've got some work done on it recently. I got a new radiator in there. I tried to do the water pump myself. Someone I was working with broke a piece off, so I had to bring it in. Everything really just runs in tip-top shape. Aside from a slight misfire it's always had, which doesn't really affect driving because it won't stall. It'll never stall on you. As you can see, it really just purrs. One last look at the engine. Look at the side exit, you can hear it. The car is quite warmed up, but I'll give a bit of a rev for you guys. Now, before we get into the car, I just wanted to show one last more thing, and these are the lights. So here we have the running lights going. I'll go ahead and turn on the headlights. enough for the high beams. So now that was everything on the outside of the car. I really wanted to get all bases covered because this is a very rare car. And if anyone wants to know how it looks, all the features, this is a good video to watch. So, turn off the headlights now. Show you guys the wipers. And they spray. AM radio, since I don't have the antenna in, I won't be turning it up very loud, but as you can see, it does work. When the antenna is in, you can actually hear some radio broadcasts. There's not a whole lot of music around here, but now I'll seatbelt myself up and we can go for a short little drive around here. I can show you guys how it handles. So, here we are in drive. Handles very smoothly, just glides over bumps. See, absolutely no problems in the performance. Just gonna park here and do my final conclusion on the vehicle. And the seat belts are push button on the side, and to open the doors, pick this handle. Now that will conclude my little review here on the 1979 Ford LTD II. I hope you learned something about this car, and maybe you'll have more of an appreciation for these older vehicles. So, thank you for watching.